If you're looking to build a gaming PC, don't worry, we've got a guide for you here on how to spend your best $750 to get the fastest gaming PC that you can while also still looking good, and we're going to give you two totally different options that will allow you to get exactly what you need to specify your system for. We're going to start off with option one, which is an all AMD build featuring a few different parts that typically don't find their ways into systems. The CPU we're going to start with is the Ryzen 5 4500. This is a Zen 2 CPU that has 6 cores, 12 threads, and is currently 39% off over on Amazon, coming in at a cool $79 price point. It's essentially like the Ryzen 5 5500, but doesn't have the improvements from Zen 3, but is also costing 20 bucks less than the 5500 can be found for. But thankfully, because of the cheap CPU, we're going to use that money on a decent motherboard, a B550A Pro from MSI, which is going to give us a price set, a feature set, as well as a decent looking board that's going to take care of all of their needs. It's going to have built-in heat sinks and room for SSDs and a USB-C header coming in at $140, but supports PCI Express 4 as well as DDR4. For RAM, this is going to stay the same across both systems because they both work on DDR4, and it's going to be this kit of Corsair Vengeance LPX, 16 gigabytes DDR4, 3200 megahertz CL16. This is a very standard set of RAM that you can find in a lot of different systems. We're going to go with the white edition here for only 48 bucks. It matches the design scheme that we're going with for the overall system, and it's hard to go wrong when you're looking at Corsair. The SSD is also a pretty decent deal. It's a Samsung 970 EVO 1 terabyte. It's going for a steal as well at 55 bucks, which is 20% off right now. PCI Express 3.0, it's a solid drive. It's really hard to argue with it, and at a price point of 55 bucks for 1 terabyte, there's no reason to buy a hard drive unless you're ridiculous and crazy. For the case, we're going to build it around the popular NZXT H5 Flow. This one was previously used. The one that we're going to choose for this build is going to be in white because it's going for only $84.99. You could get the black one for $94.99, but that's not the design scheme we're going for. But NZXT makes beautiful cases. It's just like the H510, but has a few improvements in the way of making sure that cable management is easier, PC building is easier. It's a much more functional case, and because it's got the flow scheme, it's going to allow for you to blow that air all the way through. And for cooling, to add in an extra little bit of movement, we have a 3-pack of the Up Here fans. They're 11 bucks. It's going to help with the black and white scheme, just in case you want extra airflow. You don't have to buy these. They'll definitely make it so that your air moves faster in your PC. And the cooler is designed to help fit the color scheme. We're going with the Up Here CPU air cooler in white. It's only $25.68. It's going to keep the 4500 cool, no problem. The 4500 does come with its own stock cooler, so you don't have to do this upgrade if you don't want to. And you can even spray paint the stock cooler on AMD white if you want it to match aesthetics. But for 25 bucks for the Up Here, you're going to be doing okay. Now, the power supply is a fantastic deal. It's the EVGA Supernova 650 GT, fully modular, 650 watt, 80 plus gold, has a great rating. It's a 7-year warranty. Super reliable. At $69, like, that's gonna last you for your next upgrade as well. That is a solid price, solid power supply. It's gonna fit into the entire scheme as well. Now for the graphics card, we're gonna go with the solid 1080p competitor, the RX 6600 XT. You can find these things on sale for roughly $190, which will allow you to get at least 60 FPS in all of the major titles paired with that Ryzen 5 4500. You can even play esports titles like Overwatch or Valorant at 4K with no problems with this card. 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 VRAM. The 6600 XT was a solid value competitor when it launched back in 2021, and now today buying it new or even finding a good used sale for 190 to 200 bucks is going to do you right. So that total 1080p AAA gaming system is going to cost you $706.56 for the AMD version of it. Now there are a few upgrades that you can make in case you want to give it a little extra oomph, and that is upgrading to 32 gigabytes of RAM. That's only going to set you back $76, which is incredibly cheap to get a higher amount of RAM. DDR4, 3200 megahertz, CL16 in white from this Oloy kit. It's hard to argue against that, and if you want to add in cable extensions to help complete the look, that's going to be an extra 22 bucks to just give it the better vibes. But in case you don't want to go all AMD, you don't want the Ryzen chip, you don't want the AMD graphics card, you can mix and match with a couple of other suggestions we're going to bring for you here. You keep the case, you keep the power supply, you keep the RAM, the SSD, all of that. But in case you want to look at Intel for the CPU, the best comparative thing that we can give you is the i3-10105F. So this is a quad-core processor, not 6 cores like the 4500, but it's going to be perfectly capable of doing everything you want. It's going to come in at a price point of $75, so a little cheaper than the 4500. It goes up to 4.4 gigahertz. It can consistently average 60 FPS in AAA titles at 1080p, no problem. You really only need those extra cores on the AMD chip if you're doing any sort of content creation or anything that requires more multi-core. If you're looking at single core performance, this i3-10105F is going to be perfectly fine for you. But the big savings is going to come in the motherboard. This Gigabyte B560 Aorus Pro is only $99.99. It's 54% off over on Newegg right now. It's cheaper than the AMD version, so you're saving money on the CPU and the motherboard on the Intel side of things. It's got a USB-C header. It's got built-in heat sinks for the SSD. It looks good. It fits in the case really well, and it's cheaper than the AMD system, which gives us a little bit more money to try to go for a decent GPU. Now, if you are having some wiggle room in that $750 price point, we've got this RTX 3060 amp white edition from Zotac, which comes in white, 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Got light ray tracing capabilities. You got DLSS in case that matters to you, NVENC encoding. Playing games at 1080p, no problem. 1440p is even going to be a possibility, especially if you use things like DLSS. But adding the Intel system plus this 3060 is going to put you at a price point of $774. And if you include the 32 gigabyte RAM upgrade, you're looking at $824 for the total system. But in case you want to keep under that $750, well, then you can go with something like a 2060 Super, which is still going to give you RTX, still going to give you DLSS. This EVGA one is going for $199 right now, and that's going to help you save a little bit of money, coming in at $673 with the Intel setup plus the Nvidia GPU. You add in the extra stuff like the RAM and the cable extensions, you're looking at $723.13 for the overall everything upgrade that you could possibly do. Now you can mix and match. You can go with the Intel CPU and the 6600 XT in case you want to get the better value on the CPU and the GPU. You want the extra cores, you can go for the 4500, but for $750, you're looking at a very capable gaming PC here at the beginning part of 2023, a very distant cry from where we were just even a year ago, where the GPU probably would have taken up way more of the budget. A 6600 XT would have gone for double what we're talking about right now. So that's our $750 PC build recommendation. We'll have affiliate links for everything we talked about at the link in the video description, and we'll see you back here for another video later, my friends. But I will tell you that the best place to find PC deals out on the internet is UFD Deals, which is our website where every weekday we update it with the best PC tech deals that we can find. We present it in our daily episodes of Hot News, and in case you don't want to spend any money on a computer, we're actually giving away this Ryzen 5 7600X plus RTX 3060 PC sometime soon. If you come watch us over on Twitch, you'll get all of the details for that. So check out UFD Deals, check out our Twitch channel. That way you save a little bit more than even what we're presenting in this video.